Most runners think if I want to get faster, I just need to run. But here's the problem. That's exactly why so many runners keep getting injured, feel stuck, can't break through plateaus. What if I told you you can actually run faster by running less? This video, I'm going to show you how to use cross training the right way so you can build endurance, stay pain-free, and keep improving long-term. I'm Dr. Ray Peralta, PT run coach. I've helped hundreds of runners get faster without breaking down. So why runners get stuck, right? Why do they get stuck or injured? They run more, they feel good, increase their mileage, pain, time off, repeat the cycle, every training block year after year. And unfortunately, I see all these folks show up in my office for physical therapy with these same recurrent injuries, right? And oftentimes what they don't realize is that, sure, your aerobic system improves faster. You're running, you can improve, your aerobic fitness with running, but then improves faster than what your joints and tendons can handle. Running is a high impact sport, anywhere from 2 to 3 times your body every time your foot hits the ground, right? So if you're a 100-pound runner, that's 200 to 300 pounds of force going through your leg. Plus the high eccentric loading on the body that says your body's trying to decelerate, especially when you do downhill running. It puts a lot of eccentric stress. Most runners only rely on running to build fitness, right? They only run alone, but running is one-dimensional. You still got to train other aspects of your fitness. If you just run alone, you're going to hit a plateau at one point. You might improve at the very beginning, right, where you run, but then you're going to hit a plateau. You're going to burn out. You may even have reoccurring injuries because you're putting too much stress on your body and not enough recovery days, especially if you're following a plan where you're running like 5, 6 days a week, even 7 days a week. Some people like to run every day of the week. However, I don't recommend that style of training. Can it work for some people? For sure. Everything could work for some people. Heck, there's people who smoke cigarettes and run. I don't recommend it, but there's people that do it, right? So just the human body is very, very resilient. But at the same token, there's many people who get injuries. So if you're injury prone, you may want to consider the way you train. So if you want to copy this Google Doc and to learn more about cross training to run healthier, I'm showing in my free online run group. Click the link in the description to join. So what's the cross training strategy that I recommend? Let's reframe cross training. So it's not just for injuries. You could also use it before you get injured, before the problem starts, and you could be proactive versus reactive. The goal of cross training is to build the aerobic injury without the impact stress of running. It also improves your heart and lungs, right? Your heart and lungs don't really care how you train. They don't care if you swim, if you bike, if you run. Sure, there's a law of specificity. If you want to, get good at running, you have to do some running, but it doesn't have to consume your whole week. It doesn't have to consume your whole life, right? You could love running, but you have to do it every single day of the week. This is where cross training comes in. You can actually substitute some of the running day workouts to still build up your fitness without the impact stress of running. And also good if you're a beginner runner or maybe you're a more overweight runner, it's less stress on the joint versus trying to run every day. So some of the common mistakes, right? Don't wait until you're injured to start, right? Don't turn cross training into its own race. Like, don't get super competitive about it. Yes, you can have different intensity days. You could have an easy day of cross training, a moderate day, a hard day. There's different workouts you could do, of course, for variety. Another mistake is going too easy all the time, like just doing easy cross training workouts all the time. You also want to make sure you're doing the appropriate intensity, right? Don't just rely on heart rate data to match the intensity. Use rating perceived exertion, like a 0 to 10 scale. So if you want to try and do like a moderate effort, right, like a tempo run or a tempo workout to build up your threshold fitness on a bike or cross training modality, maybe you aim for moderately hard, right, comfortably hard, which is a 6 out of 10 RPE scale. So the effort scale. So I recommend using the effort scale to measure your intensity with cross-training workouts, because trying to use the same heart rate for your run workouts for cross-training doesn't carry over. It could be a big mismatch. Don't confuse cross-training with strength training, right? Cross-training is aerobic, right, to build up your heart and lungs. Yes, it uses some muscles as well, but it's not the same as doing strength training, which helps build up maximal strength and endurance, essentially tissue capacity, right? They're different goals you're trying to build up, the different types of fitness. So just understand the aims, right? Some people conflate or confuse cross training and strength training. They're different things. So when to use cross training, right? You can use when you're injury prone, can use when you don't want to increase the mileage. Let's say you're training for a marathon, but you want to keep, you don't want to, for whatever reason, don't want to keep increasing the mileage. You do cross training to help build up your fitness for the marathon or some other race as well. Or maybe you're fatigued or hit a plateau, right, where you don't want to just continue to run and run and run. You want to mix it up, have variety, right? Because maybe your body got used to just running alone, so you now need to add some variety to your workouts to help build up further fitness. You could add cross training on recovery days, on deload weeks. Some people actually, I've trained a lot of my athletes who will run for like 3 weeks or so, and then deload week, we don't do any running at all and just do cross training or minimal running. You could do it for extra aerobic volume. So maybe you want to add additional cross-training day workouts to your week. You could do that as well to boost up your fitness. So maybe you're running a few times a week, but now you want to add more cross-training workouts to boost your aerobic fitness. That's another option. So the system I like to use, though, I'm a big fan of just doing 3 runs per week, which will give you time to do for recovery, time for cross-training and strength training, excuse me. So 3 runs per week plus 2 days of cross-training sessions, and then 2 days of strength training sessions as well. So simple cross-training modalities you do. Walking is one of the most underrated ones you do. You can progress it with brisk or fast walking, which people call it race walking, incline walking, weighted walking. For example, kind of like a weighted backpack on. I like to start small, maybe 5% or 10% of your body weight. So if you're, let's say, 150 pounds, maybe you start with 5% of your body weight or even 10%, which would be like 15 pounds on a backpack or a weighted vest, or even carry weights in your hands. There's different options for that. Cycling, easy to control the effort. You can scale the workouts. You even get like a bike for home, like an indoor bike, right? Very popular with a lot of folks. I recently got my girlfriend a bike as well. Very useful. I use it myself sometimes as well. It's a great way to do indoor workouts, and also pretty cost effective, depending on the region where you're watching this at. But for the most part, most people can afford an indoor bike to put in. Then you also could do the swimming, right? Swimming is other zero impact, great for injury phases, other cross training. Or you could do aqua jogging. You get an aqua jogger vest. You put it to keep you kind of buoyant so you could run in the water as well. You could do elliptical or rowing. Elliptical is very close to the running movement. So you could do elliptical as cross training. But key rule, pick what you will actually do consistently. Don't pick something where, the nearest body of water to me is a swimming pool, and it's only open during the summer months, right? But then the rest of the year I can't use it. Or, so be realistic with the cross training modality and be consistent, right? You want to be consistent, something you use on a regular basis. That's why I'm such a big fan of like having an indoor bike, right? So you could do that. And then out walking, of course, because walking you can just kind of do about anywhere, right? You can get a walking belt, a walking mat for your home if you don't want to go outside. You can even walk indoors as well. And a walking mat is a lot of times even more inexpensive than a treadmill as well. And obviously you can also buy a treadmill, but I understand costs can be prohibitive as well. So just pick what you'll do consistently. So structure it appropriately, match duration. Maybe you start with like a 30-minute cross train. You can do 45. So you would swap out a run workout. So let's say you can do a 30-minute run, swap it out for a 30-minute cross training, like a bike or a walk, incline walk. Then as your fitness improves, you can make the cross training longer. Maybe you go to 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, and so forth, right? You'd actually make the duration of the cross training longer. Again, use RPE instead of heart rate. So effort based, we talked about that. Have easy days at conversational pace, but you can also mix the format. Some days are steady state at easy or moderate, like a tempo run, but a tempo bike or a tempo walk, a tempo incline walk. You could do intervals like 2-minute hard, 2-minute easy. There's different ratios. Well, progress strategy. We initially just started to 1-to-1, like to swap out the time, the duration, but you can even mix up the style, the format of the workout as well with the cross training. So what happened after? Fewer injuries and less time off. When I started implementing more cross training, swapped out some of the days for running, go from 6 runs a week to just 3 runs plus 2 days of cross training, increased my total training volume safely, improved aerobic endurance without breakdown. Runs started to feel easier at the same pace. Consistent progress instead of stop-start cycles of getting hurt and injured. And I found the same with a lot of my athletes who I trained, especially older runners, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, who were tired of getting injured and found that they could safely train for a half marathon by doing the cross training, plus just 3 runs per week. So I currently have 2 spots open to work with me, private for one-to-one coaching, to run without getting hurt. If you're curious, there's a link to apply in the description. First come, first serve. So the real lesson, cross training isn't a backup plan, it's a performance tool. You don't need to run more to get faster. Build your engine without destroying your body. So combine 3 runs per week, 2 to 3 cross training sessions, 2 to 3 strength training sessions, longevity, not just short-term gains.